A civil rights investigation sparked by the death of Elijah McClain while in custody has found that the Aurora Police Department has a pattern of racially biased policing, Colorado's Attorney General said Wednesday. Attorney General Phil Weiser's office investigation was announced in August 2020. It had begun several weeks before then but was not revealed until the day that McClain's parents filed a lawsuit against Aurora. The investigation was the first of its kind launched under a sweeping police accountability law passed in Colorado the month before amid nationwide protests over the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Under the law, if the Attorney General finds an agency has a pattern or practice of violating people's rights, the Attorney General must notify the agency of the reasons for that belief and give it 60 days to make changes. If the agency does not make changes, the Attorney General can file a lawsuit to force them. Weiser announced earlier this month that 2 police officers, 1 former officer and 2 paramedics will be charged with 1 count each of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide and other charges in connection with the death of McClain, 23. The officers named in the indictment are Nathan Woodyard and Randy Rodema and former officer Jason Rosenblatt. The paramedics are Jeremy Cooper and Peter. 3 officers, 2 paramedics charged in connection with Elijah McClain's death. Sept. 200-2101-37. McClain's encounter with police in Aurora, a Denver suburb, began just after 10:30 p.m. on August 24, 2019, after he bought iced tea from a corner store. At the time, McClain, a massage therapist, was wearing a ski mask, which he typically did because of a blood condition that made him feel cold, according to his. 3 Aurora police officers responded to a report of a suspicious person wearing a mask and waving his arms. Bodycam video later released showed officers ordering McClain to stop. He responded that he was an introvert and to please respect the boundaries that I am. After questioning him, the officers grabbed McClain. One of them said he believed McClain had reached for a holstered gun, and McClain was brought to the ground. Aurora police said in a statement that he resisted contact, a struggle ensued, and he was taken into custody. Authorities said officers applied a carotid control hold on McClain, a type of choke hold meant to restrict blood to the brain to render a person unconscious. Paramedics were called to the scene, and McClain was injected with ketamine to sedate him after police video showed him writhing on the ground saying, "I can't breathe please," and vomiting. He apologized for vomiting. About 7 minutes after he received the drug, McClain was found to have no pulse in the ambulance and went into cardiac arrest, according to a report released in fall of 2019 by a local prosecutor, Dave Young. Medics were able to revive McClain, but less than a week later, he was declared brain dead and taken off life support. The Adams County Coroner's Office determined that McClain's death was due to undetermined causes, and that the evidence does not support the prosecution of a homicide, according to Young's report. But the coroner did not rule out that the chokehold, in addition to the ketamine, may have contributed to his death. Aurora police banned carotid control holds last summer, and separately, federal authorities said they were reviewing whether a civil rights investigation is. While officers Woodyard and Rodema remain employed by the department, Rosenblatt was one of 3 other officers fired in July 2020 after an internal investigation found they held a selfie photo session near a memorial site for McClain. A 4th officer also resigned as part of that scandal. A lawsuit filed by McClain's family in August 2020 alleges that excessive force used by the officers over a span of 18 minutes caused an increase of lactic acid in his blood, and mixed with the ketamine injected into him, negatively affected his respiratory system. An independent probe commissioned by the city of Aurora and released in February concluded police had no justification to stop or use force to detain McClain, and responding paramedics sedated him with ketamine without conducting anything more than a brief visual observation. The 5'7", 140-pound McClain was given ketamine that would have been proper for a man weighing 190 pounds, according to the panel's findings.